Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of Viewpoint. Viewpoint is a program in which we bring to you views of what men and women think about current societal issues in our country, in Africa, and the world at large. In today's edition of the program, we are receiving a lady and a gentleman. A lady, perhaps for the first time that we have on our plateau. And actually, we will turn to Madame Rematu C. Good evening, Madam, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Good evening, Mr. Venatius, and it's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. We have Mr. Acha Silvanus, who is here with us. Good evening, sir, and thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mange. It's a pleasure to be with you all.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Viewpoint is divided into two parts. The first part is actually the yes and no question. The second part would be dedicated to debating on this very point. So we go straight away to taking the first part of the program, which would be the yes and no answer session, immediately after this single. And in this first part, we would give our questions to our guest, who would tell us by simply answering yes or no. We take the first question, beginning with Madame Rematu, and the first question is, closing of churches and mosques to fight the spread of COVID-19 pandemic is like closing God from the fight. What is your point?
I think no.
No, she says it is not. Mr. Acha Silvanus, your answer?
Yes.
He says it is yes for the first question. We take the second question. The second question is the fight against the virus in Cameroon is the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Public Health. I begin with you, Mr. Acha.
No.
It is not the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Public Health. Madam Raimatu?
No.
She says it is not. We take the third question, still with you, Madam.
Yeah.
Timid response by Cameroonians toward COVID-19 Solidarity Fund transmits lack of trust to the authorities.
Yes.
She says, yes, it is. Mr. Acha?
Yes.
He says it is yes. And the fourth question, should government use force for Cameroonians to respect measures to curb the spread of the virus in Cameroon, Mr. Acha?
Yes.
He says yes. And Madam?
I say no.
She says no. I like that. We take the fifth and the last question. We begin with you, Madam. Does the e-learning being practiced in the country solve the problem of education posed by COVID-19 pandemic?
Actually, I have a mixed feeling.
Yes, but you should take a part here, yes or no.
Let me say no.
She says no, that it doesn't solve the problem posed by education. We asked the teacher, Mr. Acha.
I equally stand on the point no.
It does not solve the problem, actually. We've come to the end of the first part of the program. And when we come back in the second part, we will look at why they have decided to take these questions. Immediately after this jingle, we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We take the second part of this program. And the second part, it would be consecrated solely to debate. We try to find out their reason for taking the answers they have taken. We begin with the lady. She says, no, the closing of churches and mosques to fight the spread of COVID-19 is not like closing God from the fight. Madam, what is your point?
Okay, I think closing of churches and mosques is not closing God from the fight.
Yes.
I'll answer these questions into three statements.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, I would like to let the audience know that God is in us. We are the one who created churches or mosques. So God is in us, not only in church that we can have God. So we can still stay home and worship. And with our faith, God will answer our prayers.
Okay.
The second statement of my question is, I'll focus with my religion. Let me not say Christianity, but I'll focus with Islam. Islam, permit me to read, Mr. Venatius.
You are free.
Islam, that I know, prohibits the gathering of people during this period.
Yes, just like other religions.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So among the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessing be upon him, it is noted that in face of diseases or pandemic like now, we should stay home.
Okay.
We should stay home. How? It is our responsibility to prevent others, to guide others from having the disease.
To prevent the spreading of
the spreading of the
virus.
Disease. Exactly. Let me go to a hadith said by Buhari, by Imam Buhari. This is the I read. Do not place a sickly patient with a healthy patient. That is in the Quran. So I call on my Muslim brothers and sisters that we should respect what the government said about staying home. Staying home is the best way for this moment. You can pray home. And Mr. Venatius, there's one superstition belief that I just heard in my community, that if you go to Surah Al-Baqarah and you meet, you open a page, you will meet human hair. You take that human hair, steep it in water, then drink it the next day. That you will cure. It will prevent you from coronavirus, or it will cure coronavirus. My dear sisters and brothers, that is just superstition.
Okay.
It is fake.
I like it the way you say it is superstitious belief, so people should not go into it as if it cures coronavirus.
So to drop, I want to say that they should stay home.
And pray.
Stay home and pray.
Pray from the house.
Exactly.
Mr. Archer, you were of the opinion that closing the churches and mosques to fight this pandemic is like closing God from the fight.
Yes, I stand on the opinion that it's like closing God in the fight, because if you look, human being, they are a type. There are some people that their faith can be motivated by other human beings. And a church is an environment where information, vital information, are passed out to people. There are some people that they cannot open their Bible and read, not to talk of praying. But when they have that opportunity to go to church, they see how others are doing, they imitate. Remember, we said that when you imitate a good character, you can become of a good person too. Yeah. And then the next point is that in churches, they can give vital information about this pandemic, that what they can follow in order to avoid it. But I equally stand on the opinion that they should take measure on how people can come into these churches.
Okay.
They should not be crowded. You can say that churches are divided into various services, or they call it masses, like in Catholic Church. Yes, if they were having 2 masses a day, they should have about 7. Such that people will come and they should be spaced out as recommended by the government.
Okay.
And you find out that the information, new information that are coming, they will be able to reach the society, and we will be able to fight this illness.
Mr. Archer, before you continue, please, if you understand that they should space out the services in such a way that everybody can come, but in smaller groups, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is what I mean.
Now, what about those who came during the first service? If somebody had the virus, is it not possible that he or she would come and deposit it on the seat, and then the next person who's coming in for the second service would come and take it, something that could have been avoided if there was no service at all?
Well, we have machines that are used to dictate people who enter into public places. I think in the church, those machines should be used, such that they will dictate if your temperature is high or you have some symptoms, you should stay out. Meanwhile, those who are free, are healthy, they get inside the church.
Mr. Venatius, can I say something?
Yes, shortly. It's just very small because of time constraint.
It is true that is your point of view, and we are on point of viewpoint.
Viewpoint, yes.
I think that Mr.
Archer Silvanus,
you're making sense, but come to think of it, how many people will need to go to church? How many of them? And will they control all these people, all these Christians? So I think the best solution, I advise you to tell your people that they should stay home than to go to church. Better they worship at home, please.
Okay, that's her opinion. She's of the opinion that even when we close the churches and mosques, we have not closed God out of this fight. All right, we'll take the second question. Is the fight against the virus in Cameroon the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Public Health? Mr. Archer, you said, no, it is not the sole responsibility.
Yeah, it is not the sole responsibility of the Minister of Public Health because we all need to join our hands in order to fight it. Remember, there is a saying that when we stand together, we can make a big defeat. But if we stand individual, it shall be heavier on us.
Yes.
Now, the Minister of Public Health is at the front line to bring out technical ideas on how this pandemic needs to be handled. Getting down to the field, the population need to work in hands with the information, with the instructions that are given, such that we can fight against this disease.
Okay.
Take, for instance, the public is involving in it by providing buckets where people wash their hands. They provide sanitizers and other things such that this can be fought, this illness can be fought. The ministers and the public health, they are looking on the medical way, whereby if you are sick, you are brought to the hospital, it should be technically handled.
Okay, Mr. Archer, do you really feel that other ministerial departments in Cameroon are involved in that fight?
Other ministerial departments in Cameroon are indirectly involved in the fight.
Okay.
Yes, they are indirectly involved.
Okay, they are indirectly involved. Madam Raimatu, you shared the opinion that the responsibility, that fighting this virus is not the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Public Health.
Yeah, because it is our fight.
Okay.
It is our fight, you and me. So then before I give my response, I would like to answer to the fact that the point where you said, is the government...
other ministers, other ministries, do you really feel them in this fight?
I think no.
Okay.
They are adamant. They have left everything to the Minister of Health. He has become the Minister of Communication. He has become the Minister
of Communication when it comes to this virus, this disease.
Yeah, he needs to communicate. He's the one. He has the techniques to communicate to the people. Minister of Transport needs to bring precaution. The other parts are still sleeping.
Okay.
Let them come in the fight.
Okay.
The fight is for us, all of us in Cameroon.
Okay.
It's our battle.
Both the government side and the population. Do you feel that the population is really understanding that this fight also is theirs? Because we are talking of close to 60 people were arrested in Douala here who were drinking in off licenses after 6 p.m., the normal closing time. Do you think that the people understand that the fight is not that of the Ministry of Public Health, but also involves them? Cameroonians, do they respond to it?
What I would like to say is ignorance. People are really ignorant of the danger of this pandemic. I think I say it with tears in my eyes. The fight is our fight.
Okay.
People are dying. This issue is real. Let us stand up and fight together with the government.
Okay.
The thing is not for us. It's not for the government. It's for us also.
For everybody.
Everybody.
Okay.
All the individuals.
All right. Thank you so much. We understand your point. You said the fight against this virus is not the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Public Health. We will take the third question and we'll begin with you, Mr. Archer. We said timid response by Cameroonians towards COVID-19 Solidarity Fund transmits lack of trust by these Cameroonians to the authorities. And your answer was yes, it does.
Yes, it does, because if you look, this pandemic has come in a time where there are crises in the country.
Yes.
And the population has been crying that the authorities should bring out solutions for those problems that were previously. But unfortunately, they are responding at their own pace. Now, the population is still having the fear that perhaps if they respond to the authorities at this moment, they might not really do what is expected. Take, for instance, they are afraid that perhaps even the authority themselves, they are afraid that what if money is contributed and given to party A or party B? What would they do with them? What would they do with the money? Would they really take it to fight the pandemic, or they would take it for their own political purpose?
Is it the question of party fighting here, or the question of Cameroon as one man fighting the pandemic?
It's Cameroon as one man fighting the pandemic, but they as one man, as Cameroon as one man, they are divided in their ideas. Yes. And so the population is timidly afraid that money might be contributed and sent to the wrong quarter, and it is being used for different purpose.
For a wrong purpose?
Yes, for a wrong purpose.
Okay, Madam, we will take your point of view. You said yes, that the timid response is because they lack the trust in the government.
Yeah. Before I start, I would like to thank Baba Dampulo for his contribution. We know he contributed 100 million.
100 million, actually.
Franc CFA. So I think people don't participate, they don't give fund because, we are in Africa. There's no trust. And we are in a world, a corrupt government. A corrupt country, a corrupt nation. They mine, everything is being corrupt. So some people are just afraid to give their money because if they believe when they give it, it will not get to the same use. Let's look at the issue of the Anglophone crisis. They contributed. Where is the money?
But I think the Minister of Territorial Administration has been moving about distributing humanitarian aid to Cameroonians.
Have you seen the money that was contributed?
The money has been
Have you seen what he bought for the people?
Okay.
The two different things. So corruption. Let the Africans should really see that this thing is human life. Is that joking with human life? So that they should. I don't allow it seriously.
Okay. All right. So you have the opinion that it is because Cameroonians lack the trust in the authority.
Yeah.
That's why they are responding timidly.
Exactly.
But then we should make a call that we need to trust our authorities. It's preferable do your own part, and then tomorrow you can take them to task by finding out from them what they did with the money. Because if we just assume that they will not do anything, tomorrow we will also stand a chance to be blamed like them, because give first and see what they will do. I think we'll move on to the fourth question. And we'll continue with you, Madam. We'll find out. We said, should government use force for Cameroonians to respect measures to curb the spread of this virus in Cameroon? And you said, no, government should not use force.
No, government shouldn't use force. What the government should do is they should understand with the people. We are in a world where poverty is more than everything. People are poor. How can they sell a face mask for 500 francs?
It's even more than at times. I think 1,700, 1,000.
No,
yes.
We are poor. We cannot afford that. So what would the government do? If you ask my advice, I will advise the government to maybe walk along the street. When they meet someone with it, without a face mask, they should give.
The government should give.
They should provide. They should work with this thing. Because if the government now, if for example a policeman, I'm saying something, I just say anything, the policeman just go along the road and the way maybe arrest someone with coronavirus. Like you are under arrest because you don't have to walk without mask.
Without a face mask.
Without your face mask, and you are positive. So what would it be? The disease will just spread. So what I will advise the government to do is to distribute all those policemen around. Let them have it.
Okay.
More than thousands.
This is in the context of face mask. But when we come to a point where they say simply respect these rules, do not sit in off licenses after 6 p.m. We have Cameroonians. I started a case where 60 persons were arrested here in Douala because they were drinking after 6 p.m. How do we look at it?
You tell the people, communicate. Maybe they don't have the news. They don't know the danger. Show them with proofs the danger of this pandemic. How the pandemic is killing. So show them with proof. They are just ignorant. They don't know what they're doing. So just communicate to them. Some people are illiterate. You have to sit, make a community talk with them. They will understand.
Okay. All right. We'll take Mr. Archer, and to remind our viewers that the rule states that anyone who is found not respecting the 13 measures brought by the government and the other additional, actually there are 20, the other additional 7 that were added by the Prime Minister later on, if you are caught going against them, not respecting them, you have a fine of about 6,000. So Cameroonians who have not been, they have been, subjected to paying 6,000 francs fine. And Archer Sivanos, you said government should use force for Cameroonians to respect these measures. What is your view?
Yes, my view here, Mr. Mange, is that the government has started by giving basic rules that the population should assimilate it. But most of them are adamant. Most of them ignored it because they think that the pandemic is not real. I want to say that it is real.
The pandemic is real,
It is real. And if an individual cannot fight for his or her life, it is the responsibility of the state to fight for their right, because the state cannot be there without the population. If the state allow the population to be loosed, you will find out that many people will die. And in a very short time, you find that the millions of people that are in Cameroon will be but thousands. And you see, some people have taken it like it's a child's play. Some of them go to bars to drink. They drink and get drunk, and even embrace others. They don't even take the face mask as they are being instructed. They move carelessly, they embrace, and they do all those things when they have previously been instructed not to do all those things. If the government allowed them to continue with this bad habit, I think that it is going, the pandemic is going to spray more than we expected now.
Okay.
So I stand on the opinion that the government should use force for those recalcitrant Cameroonians who are not willing. But the government too should equally handle mercy, justice with mercy, in the sense that they should try to provide masks to some less privileged people who cannot afford it.
Okay, and we must indicate here that the government of Cameroon actually, indicated that they are going to produce first masks and distribute them to Cameroonians. We're talking of SICAM company that had to take charge of that production of face mask. Yes, madam.
Mr. Vinicius, he said something very pertinent.
Yes. For time constraint, yes.
I think when he said they should punish, if this is a slogan I hear people saying, that if Corona doesn't kill people, then hunger will keep people in. So the government should also look at that.
Okay.
People are not moving out for nothing. They are looking for something, a greener pasture.
Yeah,
So-
but when it comes to going out into the market, that situation was handled, where going to the market will be regulated in such a way that they don't allow the crowd. The government gave a number, not more than 50 people, that we should respect it. Okay, I wanted us to look at this other point now. It concerns education. And since the teacher is here with us, we want him to share his own point of view. The teacher said, we are asking the fifth question, which is, does e-learning being practiced in the country solve the problem of education posed by COVID-19 pandemic? And the problem here is schools have been shut down for 3 weeks now. We don't know till when it will go. So as a teacher, Mr. Acha, do you think that you say no, that it does not solve that problem? What is your point?
The e-learning does not solve the problem of education in Cameroon this time. Take for instance, the people back there in villages where there is no electricity, not to even talk of a television set. There are some villages in Cameroon that do not even receive radio signals. How will the children they learn? Parents are confused. Children, students, and pupils are confused. They don't even know when school will start. They don't even know what to do. Now, some of the students in town, they are privileged to stand before a TV or to sit before a TV and learn.
And take lectures.
That is a minority in the population of learning. What of those back there in the village? How are we doing about this? The government should think of a method whereby it can allow learning to go. Because if there's no learning, the side effect that is going to come is that there will be more thieves. Crime waves is going to increase in the country. Yeah.
But I think that is the way the government is trying to fight that increase of crime wave, to occupy the students and the people by introducing this e-learning to make sure that they will cover that gap.
Yes, it is, but few of them. And
that's why you say
it is only those found in towns and cities in Cameroon that have the privilege to enjoy that.
And that's why you think that it does not solve the problem.
It does not really solve the problem.
Madam, you are of the same opinion that it does not solve the problem. I understand you understand this field as well.
Yeah, Mr. Acha, he has said it all.
Yes.
But I think the system is great. It's a wonderful, but it will not work in a developing country like Cameroon. As he said, there are villages like Mora, Akwaya, you see, like QC, what would the student do there? They don't have access to television. Thank God that our electricity sector are doing a lot to provide energy, because if you are honest, it's 1 month today we don't have any load shed. So we are talking about television. Even here in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, Douala, there are some homes where you will not meet TV because of poverty. So that system should be like a revision classes or anything for the student. But I wonder what they will set as the exam questions.
Because they say the system is for those in examination classes. Those are those who are involved with this.
Then those in Mora, in Akoya, what would they do? I hope the question that they will set for those in these places
will be different. Then it will no longer be a national exam.
Then
because the national exam is supposed to be the same questions that are tested in Bolova should be the same question tested in Mora, should be the same question tested in Jakiri, tested in Beitwa, the same questions.
Then it is limited.
Okay. Now, like a teacher, because we are almost rounding up because of time constraint. Now, if you were to tell the government, you were speaking to them, listening to you, what would you propose that they should do to make sure that this inequality should not exist?
For me, I think that they should encourage parents. Maybe I'll better speak to parents that they should rather create time.
The parents themselves.
Yes, create time and lecture your children. Teach your children at home, or you call in a teacher that can teach your child at home. Especially they should collaborate with the
school.
They should give them the school syllabus, the syllabus, so that they can be able to master their lessons.
Okay, madam, that's what you think. We'll be rounding up. Mr. Acha, are you sure of the same opinion too? If we were to talk, what should we do now, given that this means provided by the government does not solve the problem, like you say?
I shared in the same opinion, but I would like to add that the government should review the academic calendar such that it can suit those who cannot have radio or television signal in villages. And to add that they should employ home teachers, that they can come home, teach the pupils, and then I think learning will be to an extent a success.
Okay, learning would be to an extent a success. We hope that those who have those who take decisions should understand that at this critical moment they need to adjust things, as well as the parent, that they should now prove to the society they should play their role, their parental role, because we will understand what teachers say is learning is between the parent, the school, and the learner itself. So there's a kind of a triangle.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, madam, for accepting to come talk with us in this edition of Viewpoint today. It will be a pleasure, and we hope that when we knock at your doors, you will be available to be part of us again.
Thank you, Mr. Vinicius.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this edition of Viewpoint. Do not go away. Stay in our company. We'll be around again tomorrow to discuss other issues affecting us from Cameroon, from Africa, and the world at large. Programs continue here on DBS Television. It was a wonderful time being in your company. God bless you. See you again tomorrow. Goodbye.